Tänk att tro på någonting så starkt att man ägnar hela sitt liv åt det. Men tro på någonting. Uträtta någonting. Tycka att ens liv har någon mening. Sånt tycker jag om. Hålla fast vid någonting orubbligt, vad som än händer. Tycker jag man ska. Betyda någonting för andra människor. Tycker inte du det också?
Riddle me this. Can a movie really be called underrated when so many YouTubers call it underrated? At this point, what does underrated even mean?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I understand why people are defending Batman Forever, but the truth is that it's not a very good movie. Does it tackle complex and extremely fascinating topics that the majority of us would have missed? Of course, mostly because they're just not in the movie.
What did you say?
Let me explain. There are two Batman Forevers, the version we've all seen and the one fans call the Red Book Edition, a version that tries to do justice to Akiva Goldsman's original screenplay based on a Lee Batchelor and Janet Scott Batchelor story by reinstating deleted scenes, nearly 40 minutes in total, an entire plot that is about Bruce Wayne's introspection and gives meaning to the film's title. So, is Batman Forever, the Red Book Edition, a good movie? No, it's a well-intentioned film, but also inconsistent. Welcome to Frank Movie Talks, I'm Frank, and today I'm going to explore Batman Forever without using superlative words to express my opinions. Considering the amount of people on the internet defending the Red Book Edition, it's pretty amazing that I haven't seen anyone explain where this famous Red Book came from. We'll hang in there because I have a pretty spectacular theory that you are going to find very hard to believe. In my opinion, the Red Book in Batman Forever is a reference to a book written by Carl Jung that is titled The Red Book. The Red Book was not intended to publication. It's a private diary in which, after his argument with Freud and inspired by his reading of Thus Spoke Zarathustra and Faust, Jung wrote down his thoughts while conducting a personal experiment which he described as a confrontation with his unconscious and which he called individuation, a process by which the persona, the mask that we wear in public, guided in this case by the anima, the female representation within man's imagination, accepts its shadow, what it represses or ignores of itself, and can therefore finally access the totality of its personality. It was certainly a subject that attracted Joel Schumacher as an openly gay director, and indeed one of the possible readings of the movie is that the double life superheroes and villains are forced to lead symbolizes the repression imposed on themselves by homosexuals who did not come out of the closet. But one doesn't have to come up with such a reading to see that Bruce Wayne is indeed in the process of being individuated in Batman Forever. We just need to see the Red Book Edition or read the original screenplay, which seems to have been conceived from all the elements of Batman's mythology that Tim Burton had left behind, starting with addressing the murders committed by Batman in the duology. In the screenplay, Two-Face and part of the media accuse Batman of being a killer just like his opponents, which sets off a series of cryptic dreams for Bruce Wayne, dreams about a mysterious red book believed to have belonged to his father. So Bruce goes to see Dr. Chase Meriden and invites her to the circus, where Two-Face kills Dick Grayson's parents to force Batman to reveal his identity. Feeling responsible for Dick's fate, Bruce invites him to live at the manor where he discovers Batman's secret identity. From that moment, Dick insists on becoming his partner in order to kill Two-Face and thus avenge his parents. But Bruce refuses, because he knows that revenge brings damnation. He even wonders if Batman is causing more harm than good, as some claim, and decides to let Chase choose who she prefers between Batman and Bruce Wayne. She chooses Bruce, who decides to abandon Batman, and this finally allows his repressed memories to resurface. He realizes that the red book that haunts his dreams was actually his father's diary. When he read the very last entry, young Bruce discovered that it was he himself who insisted on going to the movies the night his parents were murdered, thus making him responsible, in his opinion, for what happened. Full of remorse, he fled into the storm and fell into the Batcave, where he was confronted with the sight of a giant bat, a trauma his mind has since used to hide the trauma of his guilt. So, it was because Batman, instead of being created to avenge his parents, was rather created to block this memory of the Red Book that he continued to kill his opponents even after avenging his parents and killing their murderer. Meanwhile, Edward Nygma, obsessed with Bruce Wayne who rejected him, reinvents his identity and becomes Elton John. He invents a machine that diverts people from reality and makes them dependent to their fantasies, a fairly obvious allegory of television, but that we can read again today as an allegory of social network, since this machine can also read minds. This is how he discovers the giant bat that haunts Bruce Wayne's mind. With Two-Face, He attacks the manor and Bruce is shot in the head, which leaves him with partial amnesia. He remembers his life as Bruce Wayne, but has completely forgotten that he was Batman. Alfred therefore leads him into the cave under the Batcave, where he finds his father's red book. Reading the rest of the passage that traumatized him as a child, he discovers that his parents were going to the movies no matter what Bruce wanted, which frees him from his guilt. And then the giant bat reappears. Bruce first wants to run away, but decides to embrace his fear and become Batman forever.
Not because I have to be. Now, because I choose to be.
Coming out of the cave, he agrees to take Robin as his partner, as this is where his redemption now lies, in the hope of teaching to a better Batman than he has ever been, a Batman bearer of hope who never committed murder. As we can see, the script connects together in a very elegant way what had not been addressed in Burton's duology: the murders of Batman, the fall of Bruce Wayne in the Batcave, and the partnership with Robin. In the same elegant way, it confronts Batman to the Riddler and Two-Face as Bruce questions his dual identity. The only problem is, well, this just isn't the movie we saw. The thing is, Batman Returns had traumatized several children, and as a result, Warner Brothers pressured Joel Schumacher to make a film that was family-friendly.
I was actually a little bit scared, and I have never been scared of a movie like this before.
Yeah.
I came out of Terminator 2, fine.
Yeah.
So instead of everything I just told you, exit the debate around the murders committed by Batman, the revelation of what the Red Book is, his feeling of guilt, his amnesia, and his confrontation with the giant bat in the cave under the Batcave, which leads him to see the title of the movie. In the final product, when Bruce abandons Batman, it's more because he wants to be available for a romantic relationship with Dr. Meridian. And in the end, far from having learned the lesson at the core of the film, Batman kills Two-Face. In the same way that Bruce Wayne tries to reconcile his two identities, Batman Forever tries to reconcile Tim Burton's duology with the series from 1966 by allowing it to be more lighthearted without sacrificing all the darkness brought by Burton, by matching Jim Carrey's portrayal of the Riddler to Frank Gorshin, by making Gordon an incompetent who now relies only on Batman to defend Gotham, and by bringing back not only Robin and eventually Batgirl, but also Robin's catchphrases from the 1960s.
Holy rusted metal, Batman! Huh?
Thank you for watching. I hope I shed some light on things that have so far gone unnoticed in Batman Forever. It's easy to repeat things that have already been said by other YouTubers when there are so many of us talking about Batman. For a more in-depth analysis of the Riddler in Batman Forever, I invite you to watch the High Top Films video titled Batman Forever, a Misunderstood Masterpiece. And if you liked this episode, do as Batman and click on the thumbs up.